Linear motion. In the previous lecture we have understood how we calculate if a object is moving with different velocities and different intervals along a straight line, and how we deal with the graphical analysis, just like the displacement versus time graph and the velocity versus time graph. How the displacement versus time graph gives the slope, and how the slope changing gives us the information about the increasing and the decreasing velocity, and the displacement versus time graph gives the information about the changing velocity, and the velocity versus time graphs basically gives us the idea of the displacement after calculating the area of it, which may be the combinations of different types of geometrical shapes or figures, just like triangle, rectangle, square, and all of these things. Here also will take several problems depending on this graphical analysis. In this question 4, calculate the displacement in 5 seconds. So from here to here it is 5 seconds. So some part of the graph is above the time axis on the upside of the time axis, and some of the part of the graph is downside of the time axis. So when I calculating displacement, at that time you have to concern about all of these things. Basically displacement giving us the area, and the area is a combination of several types of geometrical shapes. So I have considered this first one, this first geometrical shape from here to here. So it is a triangle. If it is a triangle, then just see the base is 2 and the height is also 2. That is, here to here it is 2 and here to here it is 2. It is 2 second, it is 2 meter per second. So whatever be it is 1 into 2 into 2. So base into height. Next is this triangle. If I take this triangle, then for this triangle this is the height is 2 and the base is 2 to 3, that is 1. So it will be half into 2, the height and the base is 1. Now for this triangle, if I want to take, then it will be from 3 to 4, and the height of it is -2 and the base is 3 to 4, that is 1. So I can write down this 1 by 2. The height is -2 and the base is here 1. Now it is a rectangle, sorry, it is a square. From here to here it is 1, and here to here it is also 1. So it is a square, but it is on the offside. So 1 into 1. So this is the total area covering by this velocity versus time graph. So this thing gives us 2, this thing gives us 1, this thing here gives us -1, this thing gives us +1. So the answer is 3 meter. So this is the correct option. Next is, in this case, calculate the average speed during the time interval t equal to 0 to 40 seconds. This is the 40 seconds. From here to here you have to calculate. So what is the average speed? The average speed is basically the total distance divided by the total time. So you have to calculate the total distance from here, then we have to calculate the area under this curve divided by total time. So how we calculate the area? We can, without any calculations from the symmetry, we can say the answer is 0, because if we take the time axis as the line of symmetry, then on the positive half the triangle and this triangle is similar. So here the positive half and the negative half cancels each other. But if I go to the calculation step by step, then it is a triangle and its base is from 0 to 20. The base is 20 and the height is 10. So it will be 1 by 2 into 20 base and the height is 10. Here it is from 20 to 40. So the base is again 20 and the height is -5. Sorry, here also the height is +5. Here also the height is +5. And here on this triangle, I am talking about this triangle. For this triangle, it will be 1 by 2, 20 to 40, the base is 20 and the height is -5, and the time, total time is 0 to 40, so it will be 40. So just see, if we do this, then these two parts cancels out each other, so the answer is 0. So without any calculations from the symmetry of it, that this triangle and this triangle are similar or symmetric with respect to that of the time axis. Next question is, the time taken by the particle to move from x equal to 4 meter to x equal to 12 meter. So if I look at this, the variables that is representing along the y-axis, that is v inverse, and the variable that is representing along the this axis, that is x. So just think, if I multiply this, that is v inverse, that is 1 by v, and that is the distance. So v is basically x by t, so it will be x divided by t, and it will be x. So x is cancels out, so it will gives us the time. So if I calculate the area under this curve, it will give the time. So v inverse and x is here, that's why it is gives the time. If it is v and t, v and x, that is somewhere else. So whenever you are doing any kind of graphical analysis, just look at the variable, concern about the variable that is represented along the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. So the time taken by the particle in moving from x equal to 4 to 12, so it is basically we have to calculate the area under this curve, that is this area we have to calculate, and this area can be separated into two parts, that is this one, this is a rectangular one, and this is a triangular one. So if I want to calculate the area of it, area of the curve, then we get the time. So for the rectangular section, 4 to 12, that is 8 is here, so it is 8, and from here to here it is 1 by 2, so 8 into 1 by 2, and here it is an triangular section. In this triangular section, the half into base into height, so 1 by 2, what is the base? The base is from 4 to 12, so it is 8, and the height is from 1 by 2 to 2, 1 by 2 to 2, 2 minus half, 2 minus half gives us 1 and half. So this thing gives us 4, and here this thing gives us 8 into 1 by 2 into 3 by 2. So this thing cancels out, 4, it is 2, so 2 plus it is 4, 3 into 2 is 6, so it is 10 seconds. So this option is the correct answer. Now here it is the velocity versus time graph. We have to calculate displacement traveled by the body in this 6 seconds. So if I calculate the area, this area, if I calculate this area, then the area of it will be, it is a rectangle, so it is from 0 to 2, this one is from 0 to 4, so it is 2 into 4. Now if I want to calculate this area, it is starting from 2 ends to 4, so it will be 2, but it is on the negative side of it, so I can consider it is up to 0 to 2, I can consider this as -2, and here if I consider this thing, this rectangular section, it is extended from 4 to 6, so this one is 2, this one is 2, and this one is 0 to 2. Just see, it is 0 to 2, so it will be 2, so it is 8, it is -4, it is +4, so it will be 8 meter. If I concerning here it is the velocity and time, then that thing I have got here, that will be the displacement, because the displacement is concerning about the positive and negative on the both halves. But if I want to calculate the distance, then we have to calculate the area, but at that time the here basically the signs that I have considered, that is minus, and that is for the direction, so we should not consider the direction here, we should consider total area of it without any sign. We have to calculate the all of these things should be in mod. So it will be 2 into 4 for the first section. For the second section, if this thing is in modulus, this thing is a negative of obviously, but since I am calculating distance, so I need not to consider about the sign and the direction. So I just write it is 2 into 2 the total area without concerning about the sign here, and here it is again 2 into 2. So it will be 8, it will be 8 plus 4 plus 4, so it will be 16 meter. So displacement is 8 meter and the distance is 16 meter, so 1 is the answer. Now this is the next question. In this next question it is x versus t curve. So you can say it is a displacement versus time curve, and from it we have to find out the velocity versus time here. The scaling is done 0 to 5. The displacement is continuously increasing. If I taking the slope here, the slope is continuously increasing, so the velocity is increasing from 0 to 5. So I can say the velocity is increasing from 0 to 5. Velocity is increasing from 0 to 5 seconds, and after that from 5 to 15 seconds the displacement, that is the distance, displacement is completely becomes horizontal. Displacement is completely becomes horizontal, and I want to tell you that the slope of the curve basically gives us the velocity. So since here it is parallel to that of the time axis, so the slope, if I want to calculate, that will be 0. So the velocity will be 0 here. The velocity from 5 to 15, it becomes the straight line, and which is parallel to that of the time axis. So there is a swift transition is here, and after that the x is again decreasing. After that the x is again decreasing, so the slope that is considered here from 15 to 20 seconds, that is negative. So you can say the velocity that is negative, so that will be in the opposite direction up to 20 seconds. So this is the thing. So from the x versus time curve, we just understand how to plot the velocity versus time curve by considering the slope of the curve. Here the slope is positive, so it is on the positive half. Here the slope is 0, so it is parallel to time axis. Here the slope is negative, so it is parallel to that of the, so it is on the downside of it. So the slope is now downwards on the negative side of that of the velocity axis. And in the next question, along the vertical axis the time is taken, and along this horizontal axis the s is taken, the displacement is taken. So here it is shown that with the increasing time the displacement is increasing. With the increasing time the displacement is increasing, and it reaches a maximum value at this point. It reaches the maximum value at this point, and after that it is again the displacement is decreasing. Again it is decreasing and returns to the time axis, touches the time axis, and it indicates that the displacement is 0. So we can say any particle starting from a point or point of reference, after that it moves and again returns back to the same point. So the displacement initially is 0, finally it is also 0. So this type of curve is possible. So if I want to draw this thing just as we basically do, that is s versus t curve, but here it is t versus s curves. That's why I am told in the previous questions that you have to look over, you have to check whether which type of which variables are representing the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. So if I represent it, it is somehow like this. The displacement is 0, then again it returns back to the same point. So this curve represents, again it returns back to the same point. Now if somehow the question is slightly reversed, and if I interchange the variable declared here along the horizontal axis and the vertical axis, then how it looks like, just see. Here I have changed the variable in the both axes. Here is t and here is s, and this type of questions is asked in several types of competitive exams. And just see, with the increasing time the displacement is increasing. After a certain time interval, displacement becomes the certain value, it is a certain value, then it again returns back. So time cannot be returned back. The time is moving from the past to present to future. The time can be negative, time cannot be returned back, it is not possible. So the curve that is represented here, the S versus T curve, if it representing the S versus T curve, at that time this type of representation is completely an impossible fact, because the time can't be negative. Here I have taken two coordinate axes, that is the horizontal axis representing the time and the vertical axis representing the position of the particle at different instants. So let us consider at certain instant, we consider it is a TA, the particle is at the position A, and at that time the position vector of the particle is RA. Okay, that is the fixed and that is invariant with time. And after some time, let us consider at a certain time interval TB, obviously we have to check that is TB at any certain interval, at any certain time it will be at the position B. So at that time the position vector is B. So if you consider that if the particle is at the position B at first, then it comes to A. Okay, or if I want to check if it is moves from the point B to point A, what is the displacement here? So if I want to check what is displacement here, the curve should be like this, and this representing the del R, that is the change in the position vector, and the change in the position vector will gives you the displacement. Change in the position vector will gives you the displacement. So here at first the position is RB, then it becomes RA. So here if I say, it will be RA minus RB. It is RA minus RB. This gives you the displacement. Okay. Here just consider the particle cannot move from A to B because TA is greater than TB. So the particle can move from the point B to point A. But if I draw the curve, the position versus time curve, but here one thing is I have changed here. The position of the particle is changing with time. The position of the particle is changing with time. Just see, this is the A position. At that time the position vector is R at point D point A, which is a function of time. R with the point A, which is a function of time. And there is another particle, that is particle B. Here I have told that it is a particle, it is talking about one particle, and this particle is moving from the B to A. But here I am talking about two particles. One is particle A, whose positions are defined by RA function of t, because its position is continuously changing. Now if I consider this thing, that is the another particle, that is B, and its position vector with respect to that of the origin is RB function of t. So the position of the B particle is also changing with time. So if I want to find out the position of the particle B with respect to that of the particle A, then it will be something looking like this. That is, it will be something here. Position of the particle B with respect to that of the A. So it will be RBA, and obviously it will be also the function of t. So RBA, which is also the function of t, and this RBA can be represented as RB function of t minus RA function of t. If there is a particular time interval, I am just checking after the time interval del t, obviously it will be changes its position because it is continuously changing its position. So if I take it and that under the limit del t tends to 0, del t tends to 0, and this del RB, we can say this is the del RBA, this is change. So del RBA function of t divided by del t, which gives the instantaneous velocity of the particle B with respect to that of the A, that is VBA, then it gives d dt of RBA, that is also a function of t. So d dt RBA function of t will be RB t minus RA t. So if I differentiate these things separately, then it will be d dt of RB function of t, because it is a function of time, minus, we can write down d dt of RA function of t. So you can say this is the velocity of the particle B minus the velocity of the particle A. So this represents the velocity of the particle B with respect to that of the A. So that will be VB minus VA, and this thing is called the relative velocity. Relative velocity, because here I am measuring the velocity of one particle with respect to that of the another particle. The relative velocity, or the velocity of particle B with respect to particle A. Velocity of the particle B with respect to particle A. So what is the difference between these two if I want to understand this thing? Here I am representing two particles A and B. Here I am representing one particle that is moved from one position to another position. If I take the time difference, that is del t, as Ta minus of Tb, then the velocity, if I represent, that will be of that particle that is transits from the point B to point A. So that will be del R divided by del t, and if I want to take the instantaneous velocity, then limit del t tends to 0, and that will be dr dt. So that is the basic difference. Here I am tracking one particle, so it is the absolute velocity of that particle, but here I am tracking two particles, and this is the relative velocity. This is relative velocity and the velocity of one particle with respect to that of the another particle. And one thing here we should understand, that Vb is the absolute velocity of the particle B, just like this, and Va is the absolute velocity of particle A. The difference between these two gives the velocity of the particle B with respect to that of the particle A. Now if anyone asks what will be VAB, velocity of the particle A with respect to that of the particle B, just this thing, just switch over, just it interchanging its position. This is the velocity of the particle A, velocity of the particle A with respect to that of the particle B. Basically, if I see in this, then VBA and VAB are just the opposite vectors to each other. If VAB denotes, just like if I say that if this is the VA vector, okay, this is the VA vector, and this is the VB vector. So I cannot take this like this way. I cannot take this like this way. If these two vectors are representing and this is the angle between these two, I cannot take it because it is VB minus VA. If I do this, if I find a resultant according to triangle law of addition, that will be VA vector plus VB vector. But it is talking something else. That is VB vector minus VA vector. So I have to take the resultant of the VB vector and minus VA vector. So if I represent, this is my VB vector, and if I represent, this is my VA vector, this is nothing but the translocation of the VB vector to this point, the parallel shift, and there is obviously no change, and it does not change the orientation here, but you have to at first take this VA on the negative, so that will be minus VA vector. So the relative velocity, that is VBA, will be in that direction. So it is the resultant of VB and minus VA. It is not the resultant of VA plus VB. It is a different thing. But that's why, with respect to which I have to measure the velocity, I have to flip it so that VA becomes minus VA, and then we take the resultant. So if now the angle between these two is theta, then now the angle between VB and minus VA will be 180 degree minus theta. So if it is 180 degree minus theta, then if I want to find out VBA from here directly, then VBA will be followed by this formula. We know that C equal to root over of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and that will be VA magnitude whole square VB magnitude whole square 2 of minus VA plus VB, obviously vector magnitude. After that cos, the angle between the VA minus VA and VB will be 180 degree minus theta. So this is the expression of relative velocity if I want to find out the value of it. If I want to find out the angle, that is what this VBA makes with this minus VA, at that time that formula we should use, that is tan phi equal to B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. So the angle tan phi we should use like this, that is VB magnitude cos theta, sorry sin theta, and the angle is here 180 degree minus theta divided by VA magnitude plus VB cos 180 degree minus theta. So this thing gives us the value of the resultant, and this thing gives us the angle of the resultant vector. So we can get the relative velocity vector. We will see the several applications of the relative velocity vector in the next video lecture, and I want to say that these two diagrams, if you want to say, it is completely different. This represents one thing, this represents the tracking the one particle, I repeat, and this basically represents or tracking the two particles, and their displacement is changing with time, and the displacement is not changing with time. For a particular time interval from TB to TA, it is changed its position, translocates its position. So relative velocity, again one thing we have to counteract, again one thing we have to summarize this thing, that is when I am calculating this VB and VA, that is relative velocity between VB and VA, it will be something like this. But if I want to calculate this VAB, relative velocity between VA and VB, then what we have to do, then this is the VB, this is the VB vector, okay, and this is the VA vector. I take the previous orientation here. Okay, the angle between them is theta. Very okay. But if I want to take the VAB, then the VB should be flip over. The VB should be flip over. The VB should be in that direction. That will be minus VB vector. That will be minus VB vector. And this VAB should be somewhere here. And that is VAB vector. And the angle between the VA vector and VB vector is again 180 degree minus theta. So if I want to calculate the angle of VAB, the value of VAB, that will be, again it becomes the V minus square plus VA square plus 2 into magnitude of minus VB into magnitude of VA into cos 180 degree minus theta. So since these things are inside the square and this thing is inside the magnitude, so basically the value that you obtain for VB and VAB is completely the same thing, but it is changed in angle, that is tan phi. The tan phi will be now VA, that is magnitude of VA sine 180 degree minus theta divided by VB plus VA cos 180 degree minus theta. So what is this angle phi? The angle is different. VB is in this direction, but VAB is in the opposite direction of it. Just see, if you just imagine this thing, VBA in which directions, VAB is just opposite to that of it. So VB and VAB just the opposite vectors. Their magnitudes are equal. But the angle made by it is different. They are acting opposite to each other. They are acting in the different directions with each other. So this is the essence of this thing. So whether I am calculating the velocity of the particle B with respect to A or velocity of the particle A with respect to B, basically the thing is same. Basically the magnitude of it is same, I want to say, but the direction is completely different. But one thing should be kept in mind: in case of relative velocity, the velocity with respect to which I want to measure the velocity of another particle, that should be minus. Here we want to measure with respect to A, so here velocity of particle A will be minus. Here we want to measure the velocity of the A particle with respect to B, the velocity of B particle will be minus. And one thing I want to clarify you, when I am measuring anything with respect to one point, just like I am finding out the position vector, at that time I am doing all of these things with respect to position vector at the origin. Just like when I am writing xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap, the position vector of a particle if it is placed at the position x comma y comma j, at that time basically it is x minus 0 I cap, y minus 0 j cap plus z minus 0 k cap. All of these things are with respect to that of the origin, with respect to which I am measuring or you are measuring, all that time that will be minus. So that is the significance of it. The relative, basically we are measuring when the position we measure with respect to the origin. When I am measuring the displacement with respect to which I am measuring, that will be minus. Just like here, just see here, that will be minus. So with respect to which I am measuring, that should be minus, that should be subtracted. So this is the basic importance regarding relative velocity. That's why that is a necessity of changing one vector's directions or flipping its direction. Thank you.